Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far, and I hope you had an awesome weekend. As you can see, I'm joined by Garen.
Hello.
And that is because the kids are off school for the rest of the week. They've got like a little bit of a break, and we did have some things planned this week, didn't we? What were we going to do?
We were going to go skiing.
Yeah, but we can't because it's been raining so much that all the snow has gone. It's basically like ice, and there's a few places that we probably could go, but for the kids to learn skiing, it's not really the right conditions. According to Kat, I wouldn't have a clue because I've never skied before. So we may go to the hot springs just now, and if we do, we'll film that and put that up on the family channel so you can see what that's all about. It's pretty cool, to be honest with you, but we haven't decided yet because it is still pouring with rain. Anyway, today we are reacting to the top 10 most patriotic moments in sports history. Do you know what patriotic means? Like that patriotism.
The country loves...
Like they love their country. They're very proud of where they're from. And I think you see it most probably in America, isn't it? Because everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people fly their flags with pride.
Yeah.
You don't really get that anywhere else. Not that I know of anyway. So yeah, it's something really awesome. And I hope we get to love the country we live in one day as much as they do. I mean, people have fought and died for their countries, like in the army and that, because they believe... in where they live. So yeah, it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be checking that out. But before we do, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra frisky, you may as well give the video a like as well. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee page and a Patreon page link down in the description if you'd like to help support the channel. That'd be freaking awesome. But please feel no obligation to do so. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out the top 10 most patriotic moments in sports history.
Sporting events are always going to be a central part of the American experience.
Yeah.
In the fall, Americans tune in to watch their favorite sports, be it the NFL, MLB, NHL, and even the NBA. Every 2 years, we come together as a nation to support Team USA in the Winter or Summer Olympics. We even sometimes come together to watch the United States compete in World Cup play. It's happened. From the yellow ribbon tied around the Superdome during Super Bowl.
Do we like soccer or football? No, we're not soccer or football fans at all. Garen tried to play when he was at school in the UK, and we went out and bought him all the kit, some nice boots and everything, and I think he did like 2 practices, and he's like, nah, I don't like it. So I'm glad you like hockey though. Speaking of hockey, Garen had probably the 2 best games of his whole hockey career so far this weekend. He played amazing. He wasn't happy with himself yesterday for some reason because he played in defense yesterday, but on Saturday he was attacking and he was spectacular, and yesterday he wasn't happy, but he played awesome. It was so good. It was really good, and they won all their games, so it was awesome.
15 to remember hostages taken in Iran, to chants of USA, USA, when a crowd in Philadelphia learned about the death of
I reacted to this the other day. This is when Osama bin Laden died. You don't know who that is, do you? Osama bin Laden was the leader of the Taliban, and he basically was one of the masterminds behind the 9/11 attacks. And the 9/11 attacks are where the airplanes flew into the World Trade Centers in New York. And they were hunting him for years because he was responsible to try and capture or kill him. And this is the night that he died. And the players didn't know what was going on because it was like just 2 home teams supporting. So they were shouting USA, and all the players didn't know what was going on. But it was obviously President Obama came out and announced that bin Laden had been killed. So then they finally knew what was going on. But the players said it was so nice to see the opposing fans, who usually don't like each other, they were hugging and everything because it was such a big moment because he caused so much terror.
Of Osama bin Laden.
Evil man.
American sports fans and players wear their American hearts on their sleeves. So let's check out the top 10 most patriotic moments in sports history. Number 10. Team USA carries the World Trade Center flag to the Olympics. Rarely does a flag presentation at the Olympic Games happen to a quiet crowd. But as 8 members of Team USA, flanked by members of the New York Police Department and New York Fire Department, marched the flag of the host country into the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, you could hear a pin drop. The flag they carried was found in the rubble of Ground Zero and had flown atop the World Trade Center in New York when the buildings were attacked on September 11th, 2001. That flag was under the debris.
Those buildings just collapsed with everyone, and people couldn't get down. They were trapped in there. It was very, very horrible.
For 3 days before being found and given to the National Guard. It took some time to convince the International Olympic Committee, who is responsible for keeping politics out of the Games, to approve the display of the torn and tattered banner. But on opening night, the World Trade Center's old glory flew proudly once more. Number 9. Rulon Gardner defeats the undefeated. For a decade, Alexander
Jeez.
Karelin was the world's dominant
he eats
super
all his
heavyweight
breakfast.
wrestler. By the time the 2000 Olympics rolled around,
Flipping
Karelin,
heck.
aka the Russian Bear, aka Alexander the Great, hadn't been defeated in a match since
I reckon you would have enjoyed this.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Like
think you would have
playing?
been. Yeah, not playing, well, wrestling, yeah. I think you would have been good at
Yeah.
Russia was still called the Soviet Union. And even then, that was his only loss. Until he faced off with a dairy farmer from Wyoming.
that. Dairy farmer,
In
you
6
can't
years,
beat that farm boy
Karelin hadn't even
strength.
given up a single point to an opponent.
Jeez.
His American opponent, Rulon Gardner, hadn't placed higher than 5th in the world up until this point, and even lost to Karelin 5-0 before. But Karelin lost his grip and a point to Gardner in the second period. Number 8. Mary Lou Retton wins a gymnastic first. A little girl from West Virginia dealt a stunning blow to the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War when Mary Lou Retton brought home Olympic gold in 1984. Before Retton,
Gold.
Team
2 years-
USA was
2 years
never
before
able
when I
to
was
wrest
born.
Olympic gold from the Eastern Europe in the individual all-around gymnastics event. She came into the event trailing Romania's Ekaterina Szabo, and she even had undergone a knee operation just 5 weeks before competing.
Flipping
In
heck.
Retton's own words, she believes her performance showed that American-born and trained athletes can do anything, no matter what the odds are. 1999 Women's World Cup Final. The 1999 Women's World Cup came down to a shootout tiebreaker against the Chinese.
Whoa.
With the score tied 0-0 in extra time, 90,000
Whoa.
spectators. It was the largest turnout for a
90,000.
women's sporting event ever. The lasting
Largest
image
for a
of the
women's sporting event ever.
It was the largest turnout for a women's sporting event ever. That image became one of Sports Illustrated's most iconic covers ever.
Cool photo, eh?
Number 6. Joe Louis
Joe Louis.
knocks out a Nazi.
Oh, he knocked out a Nazi.
In 1938,
Oh,
Hitler was
yeah.
still touting the Germans as a master race, while German athletes competed the world over for top honors. On June 22nd, Max Schmeling met American champion, the Brown Bomber Joe Louis. The first time the two met in 1936.
Boxing was
Schmeling
brutal
took
in
it-
those days. Do you know, there wasn't only 12 rounds, but they would just go. Some of the
What?
longest fights, yeah, I can't remember the exact numbers. They'd just go until one of them was knocked out or they couldn't go anymore. It was brutal.
Advantage of a moment when Louis dropped his left
Look at
hand
that.
after a jab, allowing Schmeling to give Louis his first
Schmeling.
loss in the 12th round of that fight. That would not happen again. With the world listening via radio and more than 70,000 watching in Yankee Stadium, Louis unloaded on Schmeling, knocking him down 3 times in just 2 minutes.
Jeez.
Schmeling was
2
only able to
minutes.
throw 2 punches in the whole 1-round match.
I'm glad
Number
that you
5,
don't do that.
the-
I'm glad you don't do the do
Boxing.
boxing in that. I used to love watching like UFC and boxing. I was a huge boxing fan. Like I used to love Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, all those sort of my era boxers. Not really my sorry. Muhammad Ali wasn't exactly my era, but I knew about him and I used to love watching him like on my dad had VHS videos of him. But now that I'm older and I see the damage these guys take, I
Yeah.
don't think I could witness you doing
Like,
that, man.
some people are even on a wheelchair now,
Yeah,
no?
it just
Brain damage and stuff.
Able to throw 2 punches in the whole 1-round match. Number 5,
Oh,
the
there he
champ
is.
lights the
Muhammad
Olympic
Ali.
torch.
Look at him shake.
Lighting the
bless him.
Olympic flame at the end
Why?
of the torch relay is an honor reserved
he
for a
had- I think it was
legendary Olympic
Parkinson's
athlete from the
disease.
host country. Does it get
There he
more
is.
legendary than the greatest Muhammad Ali? Except
He
in
was so good.
1996, the identity of the one who would light the flame was a close-kept secret. Even swimmer Janet Evans, who was handing the torch off, didn't know to whom
Oh, she
was
didn't know it
handing
was him.
Ali was stricken with Parkinson's disease
Yeah,
and had long
Parkinson's.
since retired by
He's
this
passed
point.
away now.
When Ali emerged to take the Olympic torch and light the flame, the sound in Atlanta was less a
Still
roar of
cancer.
applause and more of the collective gasp of elated surprise as the once great boxer, shaking, lit the torch.
What a moment.
Number 4, Rick Monday saves the flag.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the MLB outfielder Rick Monday? He might be before most of our audience's time, but Monday was with the Los Angeles Dodgers' 1981 World Series winning team. Before that, he was the top prospect in the 1965 Major League Baseball draft. Somewhere in between, he saved Old Glory from public degradation. In 1976, Monday was with the Chicago Cubs, visiting the Dodgers. With Monday in center field during the
the flag's not meant to touch the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a video people want us to react to, the Star Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it, and that explains why the flag is not meant to touch the ground, and they were going to damage it.
Two protesters jumped the outfield
burn
fence
it.
and tried to burn a flag on
Those
live
kids.
television.
I don't know.
Monday, seeing what was about
Look,
to transpire,
he's like, "You're not burning
ran
the
over
flag."
and snatched the lighter fluid-soaked
That's
flag.
insane.
The protesters were arrested, and Monday was able to keep the flag. Ever since that day,
Huh,
Monday
kept it.
used the actual flag to raise money for military families. Number
Good on
3,
you, mate.
the president's post-9/11 opening pitch. It might be hard to imagine the leader of the free world facing a new global war on terrorism, being psyched out by throwing the first pitch in Yankee Stadium. But in his own words, he absolutely was. Thousands of New Yorkers came to the stadium to watch President George W. Bush throw the pitch to open Game 3 of the 2001 World Series. It was also just weeks after 9/11. He didn't
Yes,
want
they
Americans to
fears
think the
nobody.
president was incapable of finding the plate. But as he practiced, Yankee Derek Jeter told him that he needed to both throw from the mound and not in front as originally planned, and not bounce it. They'll boo you, he told the president. Bush, shaken but loose.
Imagine booing the president because he can't throw the ball properly. They'll boo you, mate. They'll boo you. You better do it right. But I wonder if they would have booed because of how sensitive. Because it was only a few weeks after the 9/11 thing. I wonder if maybe they would have booed. I don't know. I'd like to think they wouldn't.
Walked onto the field and threw a strike to an eruption of applause.
There you go.
Number 2, the Buckeye Bullet
Buckeye
burns
Bullet.
Hitler. Before he
Ooh, what a
ever
horrible
arrived in
surname.
Berlin for the 1936
Did you see his
Olympic
surname?
Games, Jesse Owens had already set 3 world records and
Oh,
tied
Burns
another.
Hitler. Sorry. I thought that was his name.
Same.
Burns Hitler. Burns as in burn, not his name.
Burns Hitler. Before he ever arrived in Berlin for the
Jeez.
1936 Olympic
looks
Games,
fast.
Jesse Owens had already set 3 world records and tied another. At Ohio State, he won 8 individual NCAA championships, which was a record in its own right. When he arrived in Berlin, he knew Nazi Germany was using the games as a
Just before
showcase
World
for
War
its
II.
racial policies, but he was determined to compete anyway. Owens went on to win 4 gold medals in 1936,
Jeez.
an unrivaled achievement until some 50 years later when Carl Lewis did the same in
50
1984.
years later.
When Owens won gold in the long jump, the Olympic Committee told Hitler he had to greet all the winners or none at all. Hitler opted for none. As Owens
Pig.
won other events, Hitler
Horrible
would
human
leave
being.
early. Nazi minister Albert Speer would later write that Hitler was, quote, highly annoyed by the series of triumphs by the marvelous colored American runner, Jesse Owens. End
Idiot,
quote.
that guy.
Number
That
1,
Hitler.
the
you
miracle.
go, boy.
of
Also on
ice.
this.
Would you
Yeah.
bet money on a bunch of college amateurs taking on the world's greatest hockey team
This
in a
was so
competition
cool.
for Olympic gold? Not many would, and not many did, as it turns out. That was the situation Team USA faced in the 1980 Winter Olympics.
Whoa.
It was a tough time for the United States. With hostages in Iran, an energy crisis, and runaway inflation, it looked like the American dream was coming to an end. But no words echoed through the ages like Al Michaels' "Do you believe in miracles?" as Team USA topped the Soviet Union
Oh,
4-3 in one
I
of the
love seeing the celebrations and how much it means to
Mm-hmm.
the players. Like even when you guys play and you all go up and you hug, I love that because I don't know what it feels like to be on that sort of a big stage. Don't get me wrong, my tag's been out the whole time, but I know the feeling of like when your team wins, how awesome.
believe in
it is.
miracles as Team USA topped the Soviet
Look,
Union
crying.
4-3 in one of the biggest upsets in
4-3.
sports history. That's our list. We hope it made you as proud as it made us. Leave us
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Awesome. Do you want to play for like? You want to play obviously for the NHL, but would you like to play for your country, like Slovakia, where you live
That's
now?
a hard choice, actually.
Yeah, because I mean, you can still play for your country if you play for the NHL, can't you?
Yeah. I would still play for our country, I think. But I would love to get into Chicago Blackhawks. And I
Well,
would be
you
older.
keep playing like you played on the weekend, bro. I'm sure you'll get there. You just got to not get angry anymore.
I hope.
Get angry after the game. That's what I keep trying to say to Garen, because he gets angry. Like if he fumbles or he misses a shot, you get a bit angry with yourself. Whereas you should focus on what you're doing. Get the puck back. Get angry after the game. Go punch your locker, kick your bag. Smack your hockey stick against your head after the game. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for Garen's tiredness. He's been up late because he didn't have school today, so he was playing Fortnite. Well, I was in bed, actually. I had an early night because we went to the hockey games yesterday, and I was pooped. Both days on the weekend. It was a long weekend. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Peace. Bye.
Bye.